Alvarez. Let's all welcome our last storyteller, George Anthony.
Hi, I'm George. Okay, calm down. Thank you. Thank you for that. I gotta stop wearing it. Everybody's telling me. Anyway, this is my story about my family. Family's like everything, right? And I don't know how you grew up, but I grew up very aggressive. I have a very aggressive family. Like, we've all gotten into fights with our family, right? And don't misunderstand me. I mean, like a fight with your family. Like your whole family fights another family. You guys. The first fight that we got into, it was back in the late 1900s. That's how long ago this was. It was at the movies. You guys remember the movies? Remember that dumb shit? Yeah? Hey, let's go see a bigger TV, right? So the movie that was playing, just a little backstory. The movie that was playing was Lost in Space, right? It was 1998. Matt LeBlanc was at the height of Friends, right? And Matt LeBlanc, Joey from Friends, was starting to do features. And so they approached Matt, Joey, and they're like, hey, Matt, you want to do a shitty movie about space? And he was like, I don't know, it has to be the worst. They're like, it's going to suck. Let's do it. So my dad found out about it. He's a huge Lost in Space fan from back in the day, but the old black and white episodes, you know? So he was excited. And so he took me, I'm 12, and my brother was 11, and my sister was 10, and my mom, she's like a little bit older than us, you know? And we all go out to the movies. And so back then, you had to show up early if you wanted good seats. You know, it's not like now where you can reserve seats and kick some old lady out of your seat. You know, you can't do that anymore. So we show up, and we're like notoriously late as a family, right? So we show up kind of late, and the movie theater is packed. There was nothing to do in the late 1900s. There was no Facebook. There was no Netflix, no Hulu. The movies, the theaters is where it was at, right? So we show up, and we're kind of late, and it's packed, like wall-to-wall people, and there's, of course, those seats up front, the break-your-neck seats up front, and then some seats way in the back, right? So my father does this real slick move. He's like, hey, y'all sit up here, y'all act right. I'm going to make out with your mom up there, all right? And so we sit down, and the lights go down, and the previews go up, and that's when the first incident happened. There were some teenagers that were sitting behind us, and they were just causing like a ruckus, whatever, right? They start throwing food over the seats. Some of the food hit my sister in the back of the head. Now, mind you, she's 10 years old, so she's a little over dramatic. So when she got hit with the food, to her, it was like the Kennedy assassination. It was like back into the left or whatever, you know? And so she gets up, and she starts, she's brave. She was brave before the hashtag. She was brave. Mind you, this is the late 1900s. Apple did not exist in phone territory. So my sister goes, hey, you jerk, don't be throwing food at me. And then this voice rang out from where the teenager's at, from the darkness, and the voice goes, man, shut up, you little hoe. Which is really messed up to talk to a 10-year-old like that, especially in public. But to whoever's credit that was, they nailed it. They must have been a fortune teller. Anyway, and don't get me wrong, I love my sister to death, but I also know who she is. So anyway, my brother hops up, right? He's like, hey, I've been talking to my sister like that. I'm going to beat you up after this movie with Matt LeBlanc, right? So we watch the rest of this awful movie. And it finally finishes. And in the chaos of everybody leaving, right, my brother weaves through the traffic, and he finds these teenagers. Now, we don't know if these are the correct teenagers to this day. They were just the first kids we approached and questioned. And so my brother goes up to the biggest kid he could find, Jesus, this big corn-fed 16-year-old kid. And he goes, was that you talking mess to my sister? And this kid, respect him. He didn't say nothing. He just punched my brother right in the face. My brother goes flying back. I'm the oldest. I got to represent for the family, right? So I was like, Mom! I just started yelling for my parents. It was to no avail, though, right? They're lost in the crowd. So I jump in the fight. I started trying to fight this kid. We were getting beat up, dude. Like, he picked me up by my shirt, started beating me in the face. My brother hops up. My brother's punching him while he's punching me. Then that kid's friends saw us beating up their... Then they jump in. Now me and my brother are getting bounced around the sea of teenage angst, Thank God my mother and my sister saw us, because they ran over immediately and just started hitting people who were walking by. To be fair, they knew who was on our team. They didn't know who was on their team, I know what you're thinking. They're like, man, where is this guy's dad at? I was thinking the same thing. And I started a call for him. I'm like, where's Dad, right? And I look over and I see my father. He's a very large man, big, dumb animal. I love him to death, But I see his big head floating above everybody else's. And he's at the concession stand getting food for the ride home. And so I yell, Dad, right? And he goes, oh, hey, make that to go. And he runs over to us. And my dad, again, he's just a big man, dude. Big, huge banana hands, just huge guy. And he starts, mowing the crowd down, trying to get to us, pulling people out of their clothes, And he gets to where my brother's at, right? And my brother's being held down at this point by this older white gentleman, And just for the story, we'll say he's racist. And so... This old white man is holding down my brother as they hold down society. Nah, that's too much. So my dad grabs this man holding my brother, right? But when he grabs him, he grabs his head. That's the first thing I guess he thought. He grabbed a human head. He palmed a human, and I'm not. This is where the joke stops, right? He picks up this guy by his head, holding my brother, mind you. He's like, let go of my son. And to see this guy's face drain of reality, it was upsetting. And it haunts me to this day, because just imagine, you're just like, whoa! And his feet were dangling, His feet were smart. His feet were like, yo, let's get out of here, bro. But his body was like, I'm staying with the head on some ride or die shit, My dad wiggles my brother free as my dad's about to blast this guy into the next life. This guy just starts confessing, which is exactly what I would have started doing. This guy's just like, sir, I'm a volunteer firefighter. I was just trying to break it up. My dad's like, oh, great. He throws him across the way and was like, hey, keep that up. That's good work you do, I guess. And so now my whole family is fighting a whole movie theater at this point. And again, I know what you're thinking. This wasn't at night. This was the 2 o'clock matinee. Murder and mayhem ensuing. It was the best quality time I've ever spent with my family. But like everything good in life, it had to come to an end because of security. And those people that just are non-violent, but they want to get into it anyway, and they just yell, run, it's the cops, and you have to believe them because you can't afford to get arrested. You can't afford your whole family to get arrested, And so someone said that, and we were like, you better be telling the truth, right? And we started running away as a family. You ever run away from justice with your whole family? You ever do that? You ever escape jail time with your mom, And then hear your mom say, I ain't going back, and then she runs. Thank y'all so much.